You know it's a good day when you're standing next to a brand new mid-engined Aston Martin. You know it's a ridiculously good day when you're standing next to two brand new mid-engined Aston Martins. Allow me to introduce the AMRB 003 and the Vanquish. The Vanquish is Aston's answer to the Ferrari 488 and McLaren 720S. It's Aston's first series production mid-engined supercar due on sale in 2022, although this is just a concept to preview the styling. Power comes from a new twin-turbo V6, like the Ford GT, but here it gets hybrid assistance. The 003 is quite a bit more extreme, a road-biased hybrid hypercar limited to just 500 coupes. Designed to fill the gap between the Valkyrie and the Vanquish, is on sale in 2021. Power comes from a combination of electric motors and the same turbo V6 as the Vanquish. Think LaFerrari performance for this one. Let's start with the 003. After all, it's the first one to arrive, and quite frankly, it's giving me mild palpitations. What is it? Well, it's a direct descendant of the Valkyrie. It's a bona fide hypercar, but one that's designed to be a little bit more friendly on road, but still devastatingly fast on track. And lessons from the Valkyrie are all over it. It uses a similar carbon fibre tub and carbon fibre body panels. It has similar active suspension and electronic chassis aids, but instead of the Valkyrie's psychopathic 11,000 RPM V12, it's a hybrid V6, drawing inevitable parallels to the AMG 1. And, sorry, no details on capacity for the V6, total power or a price just yet. If I had to guess though, 3 litres, 1,000 horsepower and £1 million feels about right. What we can talk about is the way this thing looks, starting with this massive multi-layered front splitter down here. Further up, we've got a selection of vents in the front, so a NACA duct here feeding the HVAC system, a couple of other intakes, that's for feeding cool air to the brakes, and the headlights, yes. Now, slightly different to the Valkyrie, of course, giving this car more of its own identity, and they're super light, these things. These two headlights, plus the tail lights, weigh less than a single headlamp unit on a DB11. Moving down the side, okay, there's not as much negative space as you get with the Valkyrie, but it's still pretty extreme. If I crouch down here and look through there, I can definitely see some wishbones and the front wheel, and I can see a little hidden camera there. That's because, as you'll notice, there's no wing mirrors. The camera is the wing mirrors, just like you get on the Valkyrie. Up here, a carbon fibre roof scoop, feeding air into the twin-turbo V6. We like a good roof scoop. Following the roof down, we arrive here at these top-mounted exhausts, beautiful exhaust pipes, just like the Porsche 918 Spider. I have to say, I absolutely love this wraparound rear panel. The way it comes around the back here is extruded out and forms the support for this rear wing. And it's quite a special rear wing, actually, featuring something called flex foil technology, an aerospace technology developed with NASA, no less. The idea is you don't have to change the angle of the wing to increase downforce or reduce drag. Instead, the leading edge deflects downwards and the trailing edge can deflect upwards. So you do away with all the heavy hydraulic bits and bobs that you need on other big wings. Clever stuff. And finally, we have this, probably the world's biggest diffuser, big enough to drive a bus through. But perhaps the biggest difference between the Valkyrie and the 003 is the interior space and seating position. Whereas Valkyrie passengers sit shoulder to shoulder with their legs up in the air, here it's a bit more civilised. Check it out, look, I've actually got some luggage space. Well, space for a pack of polos at least, but I've got a cubby hole here as well for my phone and sunglasses and things like that. And because this centre console is a bit wider than you get in a Valkyrie, well, there's a bit more space to breathe. This centre console, by the way, is 3D printed, which saves about 50% of the weight and means that these switches are fully integrated into the console itself. Right, in terms of the seating position, well, it is reclined, but not quite as an extreme angle as you get in the Valkyrie. The idea is you move the pedals towards you and the wheel towards you, and the seats are attached to the carbon tub. The other thing to mention is the seat is bang in line with the wheel, which is bang in line with the pedals. Not always a given when it comes to a supercar. In terms of the design, well, it's all about minimalism. It's about reducing distractions. So I've got pretty much everything I need on the steering wheel in front of me. Beyond that is a small screen that's attached to the steering column. I peer at that through the spokes of the wheel. And over here, there's no touch screen, there's no infotainment system. You simply clamp your smartphone into a cradle and run it all through an app. So if you're still rocking the Nokia 3210, probably time for an upgrade. The other thing to mention is you won't notice any vents or speakers dotted around the cabin. That's because this band that runs right around the edge with its vertical fins, that's where your tunes come from, that's where your aircon comes from, and that's where your ambient lighting is. It's just brilliant. Moving a step further down Aston's mid-engine food chain, we find the Vanquish, the less extreme, more attainable supercar tasked with taking on Ferrari, McLaren and Lamborghini from a standing start. And before you ask, yes, until now Vanquishes have been front-engined, but the name has always been used for the flagship model in Aston's series production range. It's a good-looking thing, isn't it? Not as technical or as angry as the two hypercars. Pretty, one might say. It still has quite a big gob down there, but I have to say I do love this simplified front end. If we come down the side, again, you can see the front wheel through the bodywork here. That's the lineage to the 003 and the Valkyrie. And guess what we got here? Cameras for wing mirrors. I think that's a technology we're going to be seeing quite a lot of in the near future. And if this seems familiar, it's because this floating roofline is a cue taken from the DB11. Come around the back and the first thing you notice is these twin high-set exhaust pipes, just like the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. Now the point of those is to free up this space down here so the diffuser can be full width and work at maximum efficiency. And while I'm here, there is a beautiful view down the center line of this car, from the channel cut into the carbon fiber roof to the engine bay louvers here to this slightly squared off ducktail spoiler. A little nod there to the Vantage. Now for the bad news. Given we're still 3 years away from launch, there's no interior and technical details are light. We know it's based on a bonded aluminium structure like the Ferrari 488, not a carbon tub like the 003 and Valkyrie, and it will get an all-new twin-turbo V6, an entirely in-house design. No word on power, but something beginning with the 7 is a must to keep pace with the competition. Of course, both these cars live in the shadow of the mighty Valkyrie, but don't worry about that too much, because what this is Aston striking while the iron's hot and kick-starting a brand new mid-engine bloodline. The thing is, if they want to sell all those DBX SUVs, electric Lagondas, DB11 and Vantage variants that they got coming up, Aston needs to get these halo products right. And based on this evidence, well, it has. I think there's about to be some sleepless nights in Woking and Maranello.